I have a special guest in studio, that is Paul Koretz. He's taken time from his schedule to make an appearance with us and of course inform our viewing audience as part of our community educational and on this program somewhat of a political nature. Paul is seeking the office of LA City Council 5th District, I believe.
Correct.
Okay. And I had a chance to talk to Paul, and I'd like you to expand a little bit about your background. I understand that you were in the State Assembly from 2000 to 2006. Tell us a little bit about that experience. Well,
I was in the state legislature for 6 years. It was a difficult time because much of that was when we had a tremendous budget shortfall, and we had to try to find ways to balance that. I was a leader on a number of issues, particularly legislation to reduce gun violence, a lot of health care issues, including most of the legislation to reduce and help treat HIV and AIDS. Okay. I wrote a lot of landmark tobacco legislation. Also, when I served years ago as a city council member, I wrote some of the landmark gun violence and tobacco legislation. Okay. I also did legislation to reduce the nursing shortage, to help working people, some labor issues. I was one of the leaders on animal cruelty issues. Okay, that just come up. A number of other areas where I did landmark legislation. I also was a long-time environmentalist and did a fair amount of environmental legislation. Now, each of these subjects, Paul, does that mean that you served on any special or particular committees while you were in the Assembly, or any favorite committees that you want to tell us about? Well, actually, I served on a number of key committees. I was chair of the Assembly Labor Committee the whole time I was there. I was on the Healthcare Committee for most of it, which is part of why I wrote a number of landmark healthcare bills. Okay. I served on Public Safety as well for quite a while, and had a long history of public safety legislation. And again, years ago when I was on the West Hollywood City Council, I founded the city's Public Safety Commission. That's been an area of great interest to me. And I was on the Natural Resources Committee, which is the key environmental committee in the legislature. You mentioned, Paul, that you were a council member in the city of West Hollywood. When was that? It was from 1988 to 2000. Okay. And I also, although I was not a resident at the time of the founding, I assisted a very close friend of mine who was helping to incorporate the city, and I then worked on his staff for a few years. Okay. So actually you helped kind of create the city of West Hollywood? I did. Okay. I did. I helped helped to run the campaigns of a couple prospective council members who won and went on to help start the city in its formative years. Okay. And when my boss retired after a short period of time, after one term, a lot of people suggested that I run for city council, and I had actually moved into the area to be close to work. Okay. And it was just one of those things. It was unexpected, but you know, I had put in 90 hours a week for 4 years starting the city, and sure. Helped a lot of people. There were still a lot of things I thought needed to be done, and so I took that position. So given this vast background, I think it's safe to say you've had a lot of experience, Paul, in the legislature and dealing with issues that affect the state and the city, and you're going to bring those to the 5th District. Well, that's my intention. Yeah. And I also worked for several LA council members. Oh, you have? Okay. You know, starting with Zev Yaroslavsky when he was first elected. Okay. The late Marvin Browdy, I worked in his San Fernando Valley field office. I worked for Joel Wax as a non-city staff advisor. And in addition to working for a West Hollywood council member and also being now Congressman Brad Sherman's chief of staff when he was on the State Board of Equalization. Okay. So I have a lot of relevant experience, and West Hollywood also, I think, will give me some experience because I served on a council that put together an infrastructure that we really don't see in the 5th District, in that you don't see potholes in West Hollywood, You don't see graffiti because of
Good
the
point.
graffiti program that I started over 20 years ago, where we match and paint out graffiti almost instantly. You don't see any sign of graffiti in West Hollywood. You don't have broken sidewalks. You don't have busted up streets. And you have a response time of usually around 2 minutes in an emergency. And that is something I think could be replicated in the city of Los Angeles, could be replicated in the 5th Council District, and I will use my experience to try and make that happen.